Welcome back, everybody. I am Golden Boy, and today we got another video about roster changes. It's the Golden Nugget. Alright, so first and foremost, PAX East was awesome. I had a blast, played a lot of great games. Huge shout out to the developers over at Insurgency. We played, we talked, we had fun, we laughed, we cried. It was a great time. Also, if you saw me on the next level, I competed in that thing. It was pretty fun. I had a great time. Shout out to, I believe her name was Tasha. She ended up winning her, T-Nice was her name. So big shout out to her. She won the one that I competed in, so it was really cool. But yeah, so I am back from PAX East. And then as soon as I get back, you learn about the roster changes. Now, obviously, that's fake excitement because this stuff is always ridiculous and rather just doesn't make a lot of sense. But what doesn't make a lot of sense is how it all began. You see, so it all began when MLG decided to extend an invite to FaZe Black for the MLG Season 2 of their COD League thing, and they ended up removing one of the Curse teams. So Curse ended up having to take a team and just pretty much jumble it up. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, Fire's gonna get the spot over Youth, or Youth's gonna get the spot over Fire. It was just, all right, we have 9 players and we have to make a jumble around, and there we go, and then we make a team. And that was a situation that Curse was left in, which really sucks. So then the invite gets extended to FaZe Black. Now, I don't agree with that decision by any means whatsoever, because FaZe Black was a team that was initially on an organization. They could have stuck with Strictly Business, but instead they decided to leave and go to FaZe Black to form a second FaZe team, thus screwing over Strictly Business and making them have to pick up a bunch of people like last minute, if you will, right? So, you know, that gripe aside, I felt like that invite should have went to Rise Nation. They placed third in the play-in tournament, and I think that, you know, placing top 8 at COD Champs really isn't that, you know, bad of a win, if you don't say so myself. You know, I mean, got some money. They decided to extend the invite to FaZe Black because of their individual performances in Season 1. But my problem with this, and I voiced my opinion to Adam and, you know, whoever was listening at MLG, was you're basically awarding a bunch of sketchers. Like the guys on FaZe Black, or who was on FaZe Black, you know, they're cool guys and I have nothing against them, but basically you shouldn't award that kind of behavior. They should have stuck it out with Strictly Business. That would have been the appropriate thing to do, and bring Proofy and Formal over to Strictly Business alongside Saints and Censor. That would have been a respectable thing, and then I wouldn't have a problem with any of this. But anyway, moving on though, as soon as that announcement is made, it is then learned that Proofy leaves FaZe Black and joins Optic Gaming, as Embos will be getting a second team called Optic Nation. Now here's the funny part about all this, right? So now we have a second Optic team. We have Proofy, who just got what he wanted. He was, you know, he pretty much stayed in FaZe and said, I want my own team. FaZe gave him a second team. He ends up leaving. Jordan's a great guy. You know, I know that he's obviously looking out for himself, which I can never, you know, dispute, but he goes over to Optic Gaming, which makes that roster pretty good, if you don't mind me saying so. I mean, of course, I think Embos was a great spot on that roster. I don't think they should have made a change, but hey, I digress. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I will say this much so. The last time Proofy and Scumpy, I believe, were on a team together was Black Ops 1. They were on Leverage, and they were really, really good. I could be mistaken. It's been a very, very long time. Anyway, moving on to the rest of the news. So Embos now has a second Optic team. Yay, Optic Nation is back. Oh my god, there's a second Optic team. But wait a minute, they're not in the league. How is this gonna work? And now apparently you're hearing rumblings of all these team changes. Apparently Miracles, as well as Killa and Dito, are gonna be making their way over to Optic Nation. What happens here? What is going on? So basically, if Optic Gaming has a second team, they're not gonna announce a second team and not have a spot in the league. They're not gonna do that. Right? So MLG will more than likely extend the league, or Optic Gaming will buy out a spot. I have problems with both of those scenarios there. And I know Hector, actually spoken with PAX East, very brilliant guy, always been a fan, you know, always been a fan of what he created. But this is one of those instances where I feel that it's just wrong, that it's just not right for any smaller team out there. So now there's going to be 3 teams that own about a good portion of the teams that are currently in the league right now, right? You have FaZe Black, you have Curse, and then, or you have FaZe with FaZe Red, FaZe Black, Curse with whatever they're calling their 2 Curse teams, and now you have Optic Gaming, who's more than likely going to get a second spot. But how are they going to get that second spot? I have no idea. Chances are, I think MLG is going to extend the league. Adam in a AMA actually said that they're looking at extending the league, and if they do extend the league, I'm going to say this much: if they don't invite Rise into this, if they do not invite Rise in by extending the league, because they are the 3rd place team in the play-in, that would be insulting to those players who are veterans, who have busted their ass for competitive Call of Duty, busted their ass for their organization. They didn't sketch. They should be rewarded for their loyalty. Moving on. As you can see, there's a lot of news to cover here. If Optic ends up getting this spot, I don't agree with it. If they end up getting a second league spot because the league is extended, I don't agree with it. And this is the reason why I feel there needs to be a checks and balances in competitive Call of Duty right now. There needs to be someone out there that's making sure that these kinds of things aren't happening. At this point, MLG could do whatever they want to do. If they want to extend the league and invite 2 Optic teams, and it didn't seem feasible before, but now that Optic has 2 teams, you got to extend the league, right? Or they end up buying a spot from a team that could really use that exposure. That's a problem, right? I mean, I'm not alone on this, am I? I mean, no offense, because, you know, I'm just stating, I'm stating my opinion. And I'm not stating fact, I'm stating my opinion. I don't agree with this. There needs to be a system out there that makes sure that these kinds of things do not happen. I know Adam said he's gonna, and just a thing about Adam real quick, you know, again, had a chance to talk with him at PAX East, and you know, he's a straight shooter, so I appreciate everything that he's trying to accomplish and what they're trying to do here. But with this Optic second team, you know that they're not going to go to the amateur, and with the rumor of Killa, Miracles, and Dito joining that team, you know they're not joining that team to play in the amateur bracket. I mean, of course you get the Optic bump, but still, you're not joining that team to just play in the amateur bracket. That'd be stupid. That would not make any sense. Why would you do that, right? So the only feasible thing here is that Optic Nation will get an invite into season, what is it, season 2 of their league. So again, back to the MLG issue that I have here. There needs to be a checks and balances. There needs to be someone that says, no, what's going on there is wrong. Optic should not have their second team in the league because their second team was formed about 5 hours before the deadline, and it ended up causing all these problems. That's why all this is happening. That's why all these jumps. And then let's just talk about Parasite for a second, because Parasite goes from FaZe Black. They pick up Parasite. They're like, oh, you know, Proofy left. We got Parasite, and they were feeling really good about it, right? Form was like, I need edits of pictures with Proofy's face on it for Parasite, and it was, you know, funny stuff. And he thought, man, this is great. This is, whoa, awesome stuff, guys. And then Parasite jumps straight over to Envy 3 hours later. What? Because Rambo has been forcibly stepped down, I would say, because based on his tweet, he did not agree to it, but they asked him to do it anyway, and he did it, because Rambo's that kind of guy. And, you know, maybe they just weren't meshing on Envy. That just could be the case. I mean, they did struggle at PAX, and, you know, they ended up falling flat on COD Champ, so it makes sense, right? Parasite's a great player, can play many roles, very versatile player. So I don't disagree with the move whatsoever, but, you know, Chris, buddy, if you ever watch this video, you probably won't, but if you ever watch this video, dude, stop changing your fucking name. Just leave it Parasite CD and just leave it like that, because I never know what team you're going to be on next. Just stop changing your Twitter name. That would really do you well. So now this leaves me, again, going back to that same issue that I have, right? They're just shortcuts being taken everywhere, and I'm just not a fan of it. This is why I'm tired of this. I know I don't say this a lot publicly. I speak to my friends about it. But honestly, I've been involved in this for such a long time now. Guys, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out on all this. I love casting Call of Duty. I love doing what I do for those people who like watching me do what I do. But it's like it gets to a point where it's like, where is all this going? Is that kind of consistency going to be there? But on top of which, the major problem that I have right now is that there's MLG that could do whatever they want to do, and no one can stop them. And again, I know that some guys from MLG will more than likely watch this video, and if they are, I implore them, please don't go that route, because right now, you guys are the ones that are pretty much in charge of Call of Duty. You guys are the ones going and taking Call of Duty to this direction. Don't bend the rules for those that, you know, for exposure, for views, for, you know, more I guess direction toward MLG.TV. Please, let's keep the importance, let's keep the honor in this league intact, so that this way MLG could say no. Optic wanted to make a second team. It was their decision to leave their respective teams that had spots in the league. They do not get a spot in the league. Period. Of course, that's my wishful thinking. I know that that more than likely will not happen, and it's just something that I'm gonna have to accept as a fan of Call of Duty. And you know, and this isn't me hating on Optic at all. No, this is I'm hating on roster changes, because these kinds of things happen so much, and so many people who invest time and money get fucked over. That is not right. It is not right at all. There needs to be a checks and balances. There needs to be a way where people can be held accountable for the things that they do. Otherwise, what are we all trying to be professional for? What are we all trying to do it for, right? That's just how I think about the whole situation. In the end, I'm gonna leave this with you guys. There are no shortcuts to success. Period. You could mix and turn that however you want, but there are absolutely no shortcuts to success. That's it.